Hi, it's Michael Caputo again for Still Standing. StillStandingPodcast.com is where you can find all my videos, my podcast, my audio, and some blog posts as well. When you can't catch me on CNN or Fox or MSNBC or on the radio, you can catch me at StillStandingPodcast.com. So here it is Friday, the grand jury day, Mueller Day in Washington, D.C. Here I am out in lovely downtown East Aurora, New York. A beautiful day outside of Buffalo, New York. I'm sitting here preparing for an appearance on Anderson Cooper tonight. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but what a mysterious day in Washington today. Of course, the grand jury is usually convened on Fridays in the Mueller case. And all the people, the reporters, the cameramen who follow everything at the courthouse where the grand jury is convened were locked out today. The whole floor was cleared. Mystery appeals being heard. Somebody's fighting a subpoena. Nobody knows who it is. I know it's not Miller versus the United States, which is the case that Andrew Miller brought that I'm involved in, that challenges the actual constitutionality of Robert Mueller's appointment. Nobody knows what it is. People are guessing, of course, that it's a pretty senior person, someone perhaps related to the president, or someone that nobody knows at all. Everybody's speculating. Mystery Day on Mueller Day, on Grand Jury Day in Washington. Everybody's really up in arms this week about all these Cohen filings and Flynn filings and Pecker, the CEO of National Enquirer, all these people. Now they're down to it. They found out that the reporters are all wringing their hands and up in the air about how the president has apparently broken the law, according to Michael Cohen, who, of course, has lied regularly through this whole process. The people are talking, if you listen to CNN or MSNBC, even a few people on Fox, a lot of the news commentators, a lot of the mainstream press, the pencil press, they're all talking about how Michael Cohen pled guilty to campaign finance violations where he implicated the president, said that the president told him to do it. Of course, Michael Cohen pled guilty to something that may not even be a violation, of course. It was not a violation for former Senator John Edwards. And, the Justice Department, who went after John Edwards about 6 years ago on the same charges, was absolutely embarrassed when they failed to get a guilty verdict on John Edwards and decided not to retry the case after a mistrial. Absolutely embarrassed, vilified inside the Department of Justice, decided that they were not going to come back and try those charges, yet they're going to try those charges against the President of the United States. Good luck with that. Here's where it comes down to. At first, we thought Michael Cohen was going to give us information that, about the Trump Tower meeting with Russian lawyer Veselnitskaya, that the president somehow knew about that beforehand. And also more information about the president apparently knowing more. None of that came out. What came out is Michael Cohen was pursuing a pipe dream about a tower in Moscow with the Trump name on it that would make him rich, and abandoned it, later in the campaign that he initially admitted to, lied to Congress about it. And, of course, this whole gambit about campaign finance. So those are the two things that they think they have the president on. Somehow, the idea that a developer was pursuing a hotel in Moscow, shocking to everyone, right? Ridiculous. And the idea that John Edwards couldn't be found guilty on these charges, but the President of the United States could be. That's where we're at. All the hand-wringing on the radio, on television, and print. All of the commentators talking about how this is the end of Donald Trump. This is the way it was always going to be. This was, Resistance Christmas. This is what it was always planned to be. Robert Mueller's, revelations in these filings, the guilty pleas, the sentencings. That's what it was always going to be. The timing is perfect. Resistance Christmas. I'm not surprised at all. I don't think anybody should be. None of this is news. We knew Michael Cohen was talking about the Stormy Daniels and, who's McDougal, the two porn stars, and how they paid those porn stars. We was talking about that, I guess, back in August, right? None of this is surprising. The Moscow Tower stuff is a little bit new, but who cares? There's no indication of collusion. That's just what? A little Russian dressing to sprinkle on the Michael Cohen salad. I always expected Resistance Christmas to be exactly like this. And if you don't expect the House of Representatives, the Dems in the House, to take up the president, an impeachment proceeding against the president based upon the porn stars and maybe even the Moscow Tower idea, you're just dreaming. It's always been about impeachment. They're not going to get anywhere near the president in the Mueller investigation. Not at all. But they're going to try to impeach him. It's about wounding the president, because they're not going to remove him. The Senate's going to try him, and they will not convict him. It'll be a pretty abbreviated, abbreviated time in the Senate, of course, when they're trying the president. It won't go long. The Republicans far outnumber the Democrats. It's not a reasonable idea to remove the president from office for this Russian dressing or these porn star payments. It's not reasonable. So this is the way it was always going to be. I never expected anything else but a little bit of hysteria based upon Michael Cohen and a run-up for impeachment. This is the way it's always going to be. I have been prepared for it. You should have been prepared for it. I'm not the least bit worried about it. Doesn't worry me at all. And most of the former U.S. attorneys that I talk to tell me this is a sign that the Mueller investigation is wrapping up. And where does that leave Roger Stone? Where does it leave Roger Stone? Because really, when it comes down to it, Michael Cohen's sentenced. Right now we believe that General Flynn, even though there's some question as to whether or not the judge is going to overturn the charges against him, overturn the case against him because of inappropriate behavior by the FBI. We know James Comey and Scott McCabe set the general up. And the judge in this case has demanded to review those documents, and there's a slight chance he'll throw the whole thing out. They should. America failed General Flynn. Failed him completely after 33 years of honorable service to this nation. His nation failed him. So we've got General Flynn, Michael Cohen, all these people coming to a close. So where is Roger Stone right now? Most of the U.S. attorneys I talk to say if they continue to pursue Roger Stone, that the Mueller investigation will probably refer it out. Where? To Southern District of Florida, where he lives. Perhaps, maybe Southern District of New York, where a lot of this campaign stuff went on. But of course, Roger was not an employee of the campaign. Probably get referred to the Southern District of Florida. For what? There's no proof that Roger colluded. Most of the U.S. attorneys that I've talked to, and I think Roger Stone's own attorneys, expect them to try to file some kind of charges of another kind of crime, some financial crime that they'll concoct and try and put pressure on Roger Stone, because they put so much effort, failed effort, into prosecuting Roger, they'll probably refer it out and try and still go after him. I don't think they're going to get anywhere. Here we are again, at the end of the line for the Mueller investigation. And all these Ivy League attorneys who have focused the entire power of the United States government on the Donald Trump campaign and White House. And where are they? They got two porn stars, a conspiracy theorist, Jerry Corsi, a failed comedian, and Randy Credico, who wears women's underwear, and Roger Stone. That's where we're at. Man, their parents must be proud. All right, again, Michael Caputo, still standing. Have a great weekend. Get your shopping done. Christmas is almost upon us. Remember, stillstandingpodcast.com. Thanks a lot for your time. And catch me on CNN tonight, and I'll see you next week.